ndabye musite tendwa naye kutoba nnyo nange ndewo omulimu gwesikoze teguliyo wadde ng'emyaka gikyali mivubuka bannange bangi nalaba abajeera ne mbakwatako nabo baveeyo kati be banfuudde emboozi buli gye mpita buli kalungi kenfuna kabanyiiza oyo gwolya naye nkejje nkalirire lyuma bikalu lyafula erinnya lyo ekisa kye nakoleranga bannange yempala nange ndiko kati ate weewuunya singira ddala okuba obubi yasinga n'okujerega naye nze wendi mukama yampa ab'ennugu bangi naye sifaayo mbagambye wendi ate sigenda nkumye ebigambo ove ku bantu buli omu aba n'omukisa gwe mu bulamu ogwo gwosi gwe gwange ate buli omu alya ku ntuuyo atakoze n'okulya gwe kyoliire balemu otunulira bye twakola ne badde otunulira bye twalema balemu otunulira bye twajuna ne badde otunulira bye twasobya laba bw'oba obubi tewalya kulaba olutereramu ne bakulaba bubi bw'otambuza ebigere nga baseka bw'ovuga kamotoka nti weeraga balinga basanyukira amaziga gange buli we mbonabona ge masanyu gaabwe bafubye nnyo okulaba nga ne mwensi eno wadde nga sirina musango naye nze wendi mukama yampa ab'ennugu bangi naye sifaayo mbagambye wendi ate sigenda nkumye ebigambo tuve ku bantu chantuyo zange naja site mfube mpange ebirikana nzire gomba mwabennugu mbalangidde muve ku bantu mukole ebyammwe simanyinza bennugu lwaki tebanvaako bakole ebibakwatako nkola ebirungi mutwala tebajjukira ebibi tebeerabira nze naye nsikitya nnyo eyantonda ayinza kubanga gwe neesiga olaba ne bulaya bennugu mpafa naye ate wano naye nze wendi mukama yampa ab'ennugu bangi naye sifaayo mbagambye wendi ate sigenda nkumye ebigambo tuve ku bantu dream studio ebeewo eriyawe abeewo tonioza abeewo ewasha abeewo ebekulu abeewo nekamiri abeewo bagigosi babeewo tebalina musango bayambese beewo tamanya abeewo tamanya abeewo madenga yavaawo abatakisi babeewo ne baboda babeewo chairmani nyanzi naye abeewo krisuga abeewo nekazora abeewo badije babeewo nendausa abeewo nana netanda babeewo neparoti abeewo disnats abeewo nebanja abeewo buli we mbonabona ge masanyu gaabwe bafubye nnyo okulaba nga ne mwensi eno wadde nga sirina musango naye nze wendi mukama yampa ab'ennugu bangi naye sifaayo mbagambye wendi ate sigenda nkumye ebigambo tuve ku bantu temundekembeewo mama nayita wala okuba bwenti tesibanga muntu wadde omu buli kyenda kyatuuyo zange naja site nfube mpange ebirigana nzire gomba mwab'ennugu mbalangidde muve ku bantu mukole ebyammwe simanyinza b'ennugu lwaki tebanvaako bakole ebibakwatako nkola ebirungi mutwala tebajjukira ebibi tebeerabira nze naye nsikitya nnyo eyantonda ayinza kubanga gwe neesiga olaba ne bulaya b'ennugu mpafa naye ate wano naye nze wendi mukama yampa ab'ennugu bangi naye sifaayo mbagambye wendi ate sigenda nkumye ebigambo Eagles babeewo tebalina musango bayabese beewo otamanya abeewo otamanya abeewo wadde nga yavaawo abataxi babeewo ne baboda babeewo chairman Nyanzi naye abeewo Chris Mugabeewo ne Kazola abeewo badije babeewo
A very good evening to you, our dear viewer. You are welcome to Fufa TV. If you have just joined us, those who have been with us since morning and those who have been around ever since, big up to you. This is Fufa TV, the home of Ugandan sport, and 102.1 Fufa FM is where you are at. You are very welcome. Like we do every Thursday, we always have to Tegero Mpira, which is the show that dedicates time to share anything you need to know about Ugandan football, but it also expands a little bit into anything that is a national issue. And of course, that time is dedicated to the president of the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, Honorable Engineer Moses Asim Magogo, where we sit and try to analyze, discuss, answer questions, create narratives, try to discuss everything and probably water down on a few things that could be burning anywhere. And I know you always have burning issues. To those that we are always sending messages on our platforms, the hashtag is Tegero Mpira on any of our social media platforms. They will be showing you Fufa TV. You'll find 102.1 Fufa FM on the Fufa platform itself. Just put the hashtag to Tegero Mpira, and any query, any comment, or anything you want dissected for you will come. Tendo Nicktah Musoke is my name, and we are already into the show. Like we told you, or we always tell you, the show starts immediately you hear or see the Fufa anthem. And the Fufa anthem is also a Ugandan creation, and we decided that we have to follow, support, and put a little push on all the Ugandan artists that support football, that support sport, and are always moving with us. That is why we have those songs. Sometimes we bring creations, we could bring a poem, anything. Just stay tuned. And of course, the song that preceded my intro is by none other than Vinka. Vinka is a good friend of mine, but also a good friend of this station and this institute, and a good friend of football. And don't forget, she has a show tomorrow. I have a ticket, by the way. I have a ticket for those who would want to follow the show, to go and be part of it. I will ask a question. I'll give the president to ask a question somewhere around, and then you'll answer on any of our platforms. The first right answer will get that ticket to go and support Vinka. Vinka, of course, is part of the Swangs Avenue Ensemble. And President, talking about art, we've had quite a number of issues, but something, a big curtain has been put down today. The legend Alex Mukulu has been laid to rest today. He is also a very good friend of football, and of course a very big figure in the entertainment scene, an author, songwriter, singer, playwright, theater director, thespian, and inspirational leader with a lot of probably, let me say, inspirational talks. He's been appearing on so many platforms with social, political satire and trying to build the nation in a way very few artists and very few individuals have done. I want to start on that small note for you to say anything that you know about him. If you've ever had an interaction, very few people actually have interacted with him face to face, but many have interacted with his works.
Thank you, Tendo. Good evening, our viewers and our listeners. It's been a while for us to do the live shows. We've been repeating and doing recorded shows. Back to the question, Alex Mukulu is a creative. I think that's how I can summarize him. Being a creative is a God-given talent, you know, to create what is not there. And it is for people to watch, to read, to listen, to see. Those are very rare talents. And it is a profound shock that his death definitely caught the country. Now where it's not those deaths that you expected, because he was still a young man in as far as his age was concerned. But that's life. It happens, and I can only say, may the Almighty God judge his earthly works with mercy. But allow me also at the same moment also pass my message on this show. Of course I did in the church. I sent a message at the burial of Captain Owari. Such a very disciplined young man, but again succumbing to lawlessness of some individuals when we lost such a talented player. David had told me that I had these targets, at least when we talked, and they were not targets that I thought he would never achieve, but that is life. Once again, it's a journey. Everybody gets a moment, and you jump off the train or jump onto the train.
May his soul rest in peace.
So rest in peace.
May the souls of all the people that have departed rest in eternal peace, and those that are ailing anywhere, those that have problems, we send our merciful prayers to you.
Also Raphael Bwire.
Yeah, Raphael Bwire, the former headmaster of Old Kampala. That is where he was really known, but also he had a couple of establishments. He's instrumental in the creation of FO, Friends of Football, and he was league committee chairperson for quite a time. He has mentored quite a number of sportsmen and other people. Yeah, it's not a good time, but like we always say, life goes on. So many things have to happen. President, what is happening right now is a discussion about what you told people. You said it in Uganda that we have to kwetega. But as people kwetega, the narrative has spread. So many things have happened in this phenomenon called AFCON. So many people have gotten to know about it, like an event coming. But in Tutegero Mpira style, we have very new listeners, very new viewers all the time. And I want to pose a question to you, that how does Uganda benefit from AFCON before, during, and after? And I don't want you to answer me like you answer other technocrats. I want you to dissect the word, the key word. You've had AFCON so many times, but it is the key word today.
AFCON, first of all, is an abbreviation of Africa Cup of Nations. Africa Cup of Nations is a competition that brings together the national teams, senior national teams of men across Africa. It started in 1957 with 3 countries. So Ugandans need also to understand this whole thing called AFCON. And we are in a program to take a mpira. If you ask this question, I'm sure not many people would get it. So if we are talking about AFCON, when did it start? 1957. There are 4 countries: Sudan, Egypt, and Ethiopia. The 4th country was supposed to be South Africa, but eventually was put out of the competition because of the apartheid. A decision was done. Ethiopia is one of the first countries that played at the Africa Cup of Nations. And there were only 4 countries. That continued in 1959. It continued in 1962. And I'll talk about 1962, not because of independence, but Uganda managed it to be one of the 4 countries. And that was our maiden appearance at the World Cup. We have been, at the AFCON. We have been at AFCON 8 times. And this was number 1. And you can be taking the statistics. That first time, we were number 4 out of 4. Because there were 4 countries.
Yeah. The peculiar thing about that is the country that was 4th was called Arab Republic, United Arab Republic.
It was Uganda which was 4th.
I mean the 4th country after in the group, not the number 4, but the
no,
team.
You say there was Sudan,
there
was Ethiopia,
Uganda, and a United Arab Republic. By then, the Egypts and all those countries were still playing as Arabs.
So, that is 1962, we get our maiden appearance at AFCON as the Uganda Cranes. In 1963, it came back with 6 countries, 1965 with the 6, but 1968 it was expanded to 8. And again, Uganda went back to the Africa Cup of Nations. Now at that time, there were 2 groups of 4, you first play group matches. And we did not go out of the groups. Now our first appearance,
that was the second.
We were number 4 out of 4. Our second appearance, in 1968, we did not leave the group stages. Now that is why the wise men, the late Balamaze Rwanga, Polycarp Kakoza, Segwanga Musi, decided to start the league, what we call the league today, such that we can have consistent players who are playing day in and out for the national team. So Uganda, like I said, didn't leave the group stages. 1970, it continued with 8 countries. 1972, Uganda was not there until 1974. That was the 3rd appearance. And in 1974, we still did not leave the group stages. That was the 3rd appearance.
The fruits of the league after 68, because the league was played twice, in 68 and 69, like a half season, because the teams were few. Maybe someone will say the results of the Balamazes had not yielded. Uganda was not a bad team then, but the 1971 war stopped that league. After 1972, there was no league in 73 and 72. Then the league resumed in 74.
So in 74, when the league resumed, we went back to the Africa Cup of Nations, but also we did not leave the group stage. That was the 3rd appearance. The 4th appearance was 1976. And still, you can say we did not leave the group stage, although it was played as a round robin. But still, it was a 4th appearance, and we didn't do so much, despite constant qualification. And the qualification was hard then, because there were only 6 slots out of the 8, because 1 was for the host and 1 was for the defending champion. Then that's what the rules were.
Yeah, and to qualify for 76, we beat Algeria. That is one of the results, the big results we had. Of course, one of the things that was peculiar then was the late Paul Ouma. He had been banned in 74. Then during the qualifiers where we were struggling, a wave brought him back and he scored the decisive goal that made us qualify. But then in the tournament proper, we had a player, even if we didn't leave the groups, that made the best team. That was Stanley Mubiru Tanka. He scored all the 3 goals Uganda scored.
In 1976.
The brace in a 2-2 draw with Ivory Coast and another goal. So he made the team even if he didn't. We didn't leave the group stages.
So that was the 4th appearance,
yes.
Right? We came back in 1978, our state and golden year, when Uganda played until the finals, when we lost to Ghana, and that's Uganda's highest performance in the Africa Cup of Nations. Why are we doing this? Apparently, there are so many younger people who are now following football, who are now part of this wave of AFCON. We thought it was important for them to understand that this AFCON thing is not the one of yesterday, but one of some time back. So that was the 5th appearance at the Africa Cup of Nations. Now, from 1978, we did not qualify in the rest of those, and it continued 80, 82, 84, 86, 88, 90. Now, I want to talk about 90. For me, that was 92. That was my first AFCON qualifiers I saw. The first match I watched in Nachivubo was Uganda versus Zaire. And Late Majid scored, and Umar Senoga Sheikh. I think it was 2-1, and the team was called Zaire then. Akarasha Katonokagwa.
Those who used to watch football in Nachivubo and saw that there was a part of Chirasha that looked like it was half and badly built. It just broke out of excitement.
But there were no casualties, apparently. For me, that was my first AFCON qualifier I watched.
The profound thing about that team is Zaire had the father of Romelu Lukaku, Roger Menama Lukaku. He was in Zaire, and then he went to become a professional. That is where he gave birth to
Lukaku, the player for Belgium now. So the real first time I'm watching AFCON on TV was 1992 in Senegal, and that popular advert of Abedi Pere.
How do you manage
to keep your fitness?
I use vegetable.
I use vegetable
before and after each match and training session.
So that was 1992. Still, we were not there, and at that time, I'm now starting my appetite as a football fan to watch Uganda at AFCON. And I was still a student in high school, of course. Then, 1994, Tunisia, we still didn't qualify.
After that infamous penalty miss at Nachivubo,
I remember that
Uganda
penalty
versus Nigeria.
Yes, Uganda versus Nigeria. Adam Semugabi and George Semugabi played that game.
Yeah, Robert Muchibi.
Actually, FIFA TV has that game.
Yeah,
they should be playing it. It is a very historic game for us. That was 1994. Nigeria survived.
Fred Tamale actually also.
Yeah, I can tell you even the lineup. It was Sadiq in goal. There was George Semugabi on the right, Adam Semugabi on the left,
Charles
Temarigwe and Robert Muchibi, and was Rajab Sekarie, number 6, Idi Batambuze, number 7, Robert Alolo, 8, Majidu, Mayanja, and Sulakato.
Then the only substitute, Fred Tamale.
When Kato went out. So that's
Abdallah Mubiru was an unused substitute. Yes. He was part of that team.
But he went on to play in the next game.
Yeah.
I think we played Sudan or something, where Jackson Mayanja scored. So 94 we didn't qualify, but that Nigeria that survived by us missing a penalty went on to win the Africa Cup of Nations. It was that strong with the Jejo coaches and that group.
Samson Siasia.
And then from there they went on actually to play very well in the World Cup, their first World Cup. I think they lost to Italy in the knockout stages.
They went.
Or did they beat Italy in the group stages? I don't remember that.
They played against Argentina as well. It was a big Nigerian team.
So that was 94. 96, and you know that time in Uganda, you had to find a foreign country for you to support. Ugandans who are following that.
Actually,
time,
everyone had a country there.
Who was supporting. People we knew, they were Nigeria,
we were Ghana,
Cameroon, Zenaliwa South Africa in 1996. And when I told people I'm supporting South Africa, everybody laughed. Because it was the first time South Africa was actually coming to play in the Africa Cup of Nations. And they were hosts. And about that tournament is that our own Charles Masembe was the referee of the final. When South Africa beat Tunisia, I think 2-0.
Mark Williams
brace. So we didn't qualify. Remember from 78, at that time the appetite in this country was growing. How can we be part of TV football? In 1998, Burkina Faso, we still didn't qualify. In 2000, it was, I think, Ghana and Nigeria.
Yeah.
We still didn't qualify. 2002 was, where was 2002?
We didn't qualify still.
But still we didn't qualify.
It was Mali. I think it was Mali.
It was Mali, Bamako. In 2004, I think we went back to Tunisia. We still didn't qualify. All those times.
In between, there were a series of failed attempts that have stories, different kinds of stories.
2006 in Egypt, we still didn't qualify.
Egypt tukubye omukono mu 95 before 96. Tunisia tukubye omukaga.
2008, I think, was it Ghana and Mali or Ghana and Nigeria? Now, in 2005, that's when Dr. Mulindwa comes in. That's when we come in. Tugamba kakati tujagenda mu Africa Cup of Nations. And by 2006, 2005, hope had now been lost, completely lost. I think what we did very well in that time was revive the hope, but we also revived the hunger. And there was a lot of reorganization. At least the team now had some, because that team that was failing to qualify was a team full of very talented players. I give credit to those people.
Yeah.
Very talented group of players. If it had the proper motivation, welfare, conditioning, coaching, I'm sure that team would have done, because it was a very good team. But now what we came in 2005, we started to improve as an administration of FIFA. We started to improve on the welfare of the team, where they sleep, how they travel, the payment they are getting. And I give Dr. Mulindwa that credit because that was his dream. So we pushed. 2008, we failed to qualify. 2006, we had failed already. So 2008, we failed to qualify. That's the time when we went to Lesotho. If you remember that game. But somehow we failed to qualify. They changed our game by a day and disorganized us, and then we failed to qualify. In that time, we were in the same group with Nigeria. In 2010, Angola, we still failed to qualify. You remember that announcement that we had qualified and then Tuisemu and then the Tuisemu. Because, you know, the confusion was because Africa Cup of Nations was using, it was both Africa Cup of Nations qualifier and the FIFA.
And FIFA World Cup qualifiers.
FIFA World Cup qualifiers. So, FIFA uses a different set of rules and CAF uses a different set of rules. So by the rules of CAF, we did not qualify. By the rules of FIFA, we had actually qualified. So there was a bit of a clash. People went for Masembe's head, but I can tell you authoritatively that the community, because at that time I was with him and we were checking with FIFA, why don't we play a game at the same time with Angola and Benin? And they said, no. There is no reason for that, because at the end of the day, all you need is a win, not by how many goals. So that is how, you know, we did qualify in 2010. We mounted another attempt in 2012. 2012 is, how did we miss out on 2012?
We go.
Kenya. Oh, that time the country came down. We first attacked Nairobi, and when these people in Nairobi were in some group with Kenya, Angola, and who else? You know, but when Angola and some West African country, which was it? I don't remember. You can check that. But what happened is that we attacked Nairobi. I've never seen Ugandans like that, with over 40 organized buses, but also people moving in different forms. So when Nairobi woke up, they found the town yellow. And so what is happening? So Uganda is in town. But again, that time, the final game, we needed a win we needed a draw in Angola to qualify. Now we are talking about 1978, and this is now 20. We are trying to go to 2012. Those how many years? 2. You know, those about 22 years. You know, 24 years, and it had failed. So we came to 2013. 2013, I think this time we had done to beat Zambia, the defending champions. We even chartered a flight. For the first time, the Uganda Cranes chartered a flight. We went to Ndola on a chartered flight. It used to be called Air Uganda. We played a game, and we lost 1-0. That game, we came back and we went to Club Silk. And people say, but you people, we have just seen you in Zambia. How come you were here? You know, did you people really go? Because we were there with some of the players in Club Silk. The return leg in Nambole, you remember the Geoffrey Massa 1-0, we go into the penalties, I think 10 or 11 something penalties, and we still didn't qualify. That's when I became president in 2013 with all that anger, but I'd gotten a lot of experience to understand a little bit of strings. My first understanding was that you cannot go to AFCON when you do not have money. So we had to solve the money bit first. And you remember we tried in the next edition was 2015. At that time, we missed 13. And again, we missed. You remember that game, we needed a draw in a game against Guinea-Conakry, which we played in Morocco, and then we conceded the 2 goals. So we didn't qualify. So we called a symposium at the Imperial Royal. We called His Excellency the President. We said we are inviting you for a symposium. We want to go to AFCON. He sent for us the Vice President then, Emeritus Sekandi. And we talked and presented the things, what does it? And then at the end he told me, Sebo, Omukulu Mugambe chi. I'll never forget that. And some of these things people need to understand. It's not a short journey. Nemugamba omukulu mugambe abaze binambi wulidde ne mpaye ekintu kimu omukulu kyemba mugamba nemugamba omupiira gwetaaga sente without money we cannot nagamba kale. The next thing, president calls us and says, okay, my vice president right on the second, it says, so we'll find a way of supporting you as the office of the president. So that's when we said our target is 2019. And we deflated the whole, you know, those days there were a lot of pressures. Waliwo abalinga balwana tebagala timu hitemu bishi. So nafune tubakuba dami. Yes, it was Guinea-Bissau. They were, yeah, I remember it was a West African country. And we beat Guinea-Bissau away in that campaign.
Yeah.
We had not won an away game. We had last won an away game in 2001. Uganda versus Malawi.
Malawi, yeah. We beat Guinea-Bissau home and away.
The late Majid Msia and the late Mwembo.
And Mwembo Ibrahim.
So after 2001, the next away game we won was that one in 2012.
David Oboa, Guinea-Bissau.
We beat Guinea-Bissau away, and it was big news in town. And the next game was in Nambole. It was, I think it's Uganda's biggest capacity game.
Yeah.
In Nambole, because people got filled to the maximum. And it was the Jajawalu and the Geoffrey Massa. So we beat Guinea-Bissau home away. But in that time also we had Angola, whom we beat 3-0.
We had beaten them 3-0 in the home leg.
It was Sepuya and who else? And I think Geoffrey,
Serunkuma,
then
and Andemwesigwa.
Then we lost, of course, 2-0, the Manucho goal in Angola. Then we had done 0-0 in Kenya, and then of course we needed just a win, 1-0 in Kampala, and we said we go. Then the Kenyans said, you go where?
Where?
You know. So in 2017 we started our campaign. And with the team, the team, we sat down and said, guys, our target is 2019, but we are going to give it our best. And people quarreled. People in this country like a quarreling.
There's somewhere we lost track. You were giving us the chronology of the teams, how they were increasing.
Yes.
They stopped when they were 8.
They were 8 from 1968 up to 1990 in Algeria. After that, CAF increased them to 12 in 92 and 94, and then to 16 in 1996.
In 96.
That
although
went
15 played because Nigeria and South Africa had that Biafra thing.
Yeah, then
Nigeria refused to go. The
defending champions didn't go back. That continued until 2017. So when we qualified for 2017, there are people who want to write history wrongly. There were still 16 countries. So we did not qualify because they had expanded AFCON. Let us not lie. We qualified when there were still 16 countries that qualified to the Africa Cup of Nations, which had started in 1996, and we still hadn't qualified. So in that group, I remember our first game we played Botswana, and we beat them 2-0. I think it was Brian Omoni and Geoffrey Massa.
Yeah.
In that group, we also had Burkina Faso. We lost 1-0 in Burkina Faso. And then in that group, we also had, who else?
Was it Comoros?
Comoros. So we went to Comoros and beat Comoros 2-0. It was first of all, 1-0. 1-0 in Comoros. And people are saying, your Comoros, but I think we can see what Comoros is doing now. So we beat Botswana 2-0, we beat Comoros 1-0, and we were on the high. Then we lost to Burkina Faso away. We came back, we drew 0-0 with the Burkina Faso, and our hopes were again dashed. But I told the boys when we went to Botswana, and I said, guys, it is either now or never. And I told the players, I remembered very well in the meeting with the players, I told them, guys, Geoffrey Massa does not normally score away from Nambole. So if he's not going to score, you midfielders, I think this is the opportunity. And I said, when do we ever see, if it's not Maweje, when do we ever see goals? Kadaucho, Luagachizito, I called out names. And the following day, we go and play Botswana, and I remember that cool goal by Luagachizito, perfect master control. I think it was the pass from Maweje, and we lead. And saying, I wish the game can end now, because that had revived our hopes. But somewhere we got they got an equalizer against us, the Botswana. And then a few minutes later, again we get the goal by Khalid Aucho with the sweet left. So we leave. But how did we get to Botswana? That game, I need to tell people what happened. That game in Botswana, this is what happened. We left here and we went and camped in Harare. And we played some friendly game with Zimbabwe. That's the time when Melvin came. This Melvin, Lorenzen. People have they just saw him in 2025 in Morocco, but in that campaign, I think it was 2016, he was in top form. But he didn't accept to play for Uganda after that. So from there we went by road, we went by air. And when we reached, we left Harare, the hotel, and went to the airport. No, a day before, when we were on the bus, Farouk Mia all of a sudden collapsed. And that was dangerous. So when we reached, we went to the hospital, they checked him, and they found nothing. The boy was actually fine. But the doctor told us, guys, this one cannot play. And if anything happens, I'm not responsible. So we are supposed to take an aircraft from Harare to Bulawayo in Zimbabwe so that we can enter Botswana by road. Because we were going to Freetown. It was better to go that way. Now the aircraft which was supposed to take us, when we were at the airport, at 6 we were already at the airport. Then they said they are testing the aircraft. They also kind of bajivugamuka. I said, what's the problem? They said, no, they are still testing. There's something small which is still remaining. Like until 11. I said, you guys, am I going to take this national team and I put it on an aircraft which has been tested? I said, we are not going. So we have to find a way of reaching Freetown, even if it means going by bus. Actually, all the players said, President, we agree, let us go by bus, but we are not going to. But eventually they brought another aircraft from South Africa, so we reached Harare almost at 6 p.m. Then the following day, by bus, we reached Botswana, Freetown, Francistown. They call it Francistown.
Francistown.
So this is why did I talk about Farouk? He was our star boy at that moment. So I asked the coach, what's happened? He said, like, I want the player. That was Coach Mitchell. I said, but the doctor said this player cannot play. Then I called Farouk. Farouk, he said, for me, I'm president. Me, I'm normal. I'm not feeling anything wrong. Then the star players, I think it was Geoffrey Massa, Onyango, that group came to me and said, President, for us we want Farouk Mia to play. If he's going to die, let him die. But for us, this is our opportunity. I'm just talking about the spirit that the team had. So it was me to take a decision whether Mwanawabandi, Asamba, and everybody said, now President. So these things are not easy. You have to take a decision. Now I remembered the David Obua saga. I said, again, Uganda. Again, at this moment, we are going to take a decision that is going. I said, you know what, Coach, let the player play. And Dr. Chisolo was not happy with me. But I had to keep the momentum of the team. Of course, we played and even he didn't have a good game. After like 25 minutes, he was substituted. But the players were happy that at least he had played. And we went on to actually win that game, like I said. So the final game was in Kampala, Comoros, on the 4th of September 2016. We needed any win. And who scores? Farouk Mia, 1-0. That's how we go back to the Africa Cup of Nations, the AFCON. We tell these stories because, you know, in 2017 to now, it's 10 years, it's 9 years. A lot of things have happened. So finally, we break the jinx, we go back to AFCON. 2019 was much easier. We led the group again. And that time, we had to play away in Cape Verde. And another story for Cape Verde. What happened is you know, Cape Verde is a very funny place. There are only 3 airlines, there are 3 flights into Cape Verde a whole week. And it is by air Cape Verde. So we are in Dakar, Senegal, we play friendly. They tell us, okay, 6 o'clock in the morning. And that was the day of the match. It's the only day we could get the flight, and it was like 30 minutes. So okay, let's fly at 6 o'clock. In fact, it was at 3 a.m. in the morning. So let's go, players reach and rest. So when we reach, no, it was sorry, the previous day, that's when we were supposed to go. But then they said the aircraft has no places all of a sudden. But 7 persons can go. So we told them the 7 persons, let us give you the officials, but we keep the players together as a team. They said, by the way, the 7 persons who are going, they even gave us names. But when you looked at the 7 names like this, there was a goalkeeper, there was a defender. I started sensing something. They took the 7. When they reached, Okwi sent me a message and said, President, do you know, even the aircraft had free seats. There were even free seats on the aircraft. I realized these were games now. So the following day, 3 a.m. is the next flight. We reach. From 3 a.m., the flight did not come until 3 p.m. when we were languishing with the team. And that's match day. Eventually the aircraft came. We boarded. It was like 30 minutes. When we landed like this at the airport, they were driving us straight into the stadium. The stadium was full. The referees were there. Now they're waiting for us to arrive. So I called the CAF and said, this is unfair. if we are to play football and the best team wins, let's play our game the following day. And let us see the best team in proper conditions. And CAF listened to me. So I was telling Muinda, let's drive to the hotel. CAF has given me the assurance that the game has been postponed. Muinda said, President, we are going to lose. You never know we can beat those people. And the driver refused to take us to the hotel. He drove us into the stadium. When we reached the stadium, it was full. And we were supposed to go to the dressing room. I told those people, I'm not leaving the bus. CAF has given me an assurance. So these officials of Cape Verde came and said, President, let us go and play. Now players were divided. Should we go or should we remain? As we were still there, the referees left the pitch. They said, sorry, CAF has communicated that the match is not there. So the match was the following day. We went to the hotel, players rested. They warmed up in the compound of the hotel. You know Coach Mitchell? They warmed up in the compound of the hotel. Following the match day, we play Cape Verde. 0-0. Eventually, you know, Geoffrey Serunkuma. They make a mistake. He places. We win 1-0. That's how we won 1-0 in Cape Verde and came back. Then, of course, we also beat them here. I think there was also Lesotho.
Yeah,
we beat
Lesotho,
home and away. So we accumulated enough points, and by the last game,
Tanzania was a draw here.
Tanzania was a draw here.
Goalless.
But
Lesotho home and away 3-0. I think Okwit twice.
Yes.
And Mia once. Then Lesotho away 2-0 Mia.
And Okwi, I think.
Then Cape Verde, Patrick Kadu
registers his arrival. And the final game was again in Tanzania.
It was academic.
And we had already qualified, but we lost the game 3-0. The coach started changing things, trying things. I remember he was playing Cruzesto Muntambi in the central defense. So that was 2019, and we all know what happened. We went to Egypt, and we had our second best performance. Because in 2017 also we didn't leave the group stage. In that group we had Ghana, I think we had Egypt and Mali. But we didn't leave the group stages. So our next best performance of 1978 is the one in 2019, when we left the group stage and we lost to Senegal in the knockout stages. But we beat DR Congo, and I think drew with Zimbabwe, lost to Egypt, and then lost to Senegal.
It is from there that we shall continue this discussion. If you've just joined us, the program is to Tegero Mpira, Fufa TV, the home of Ugandan sport, and 102.1 Fufa FM. Let's take a short break. Big up to all those that are sending messages. We are following. We'll get back and probably get some time to holler at you. We'll be back.
You are watching Fufa TV, the home of Ugandan sport. In Biggie's house, there's no place to hide. And even when you think no one is watching, the energy can swing in an instant. This BB Nigeria Season 11, everything burns brighter. Only the biggest moves tip the scale, because nothing is given, but everything is for the taking when the world watches. Will you be outshined, or will you step up and take the spotlight? Big Brother Nigeria Season 11, showing 24/7 on DSTV channel 198 and GoTV channel 49. Headline sponsor, Bet Power.
The Bale Kumi Highway in Bukedia Town Council, Bukedia District. Bukedia Comprehensive School, Knowledge and Innovation.
Get ready to elevate your sports experience. Introducing the Fufa Media app, your ultimate destination for all things sports.
With the Fufa Media app, you can watch live matches and events from a wide range of sports, catch up on latest highlights, and stay informed with breaking news and exclusive interviews. Whether you're a football fanatic, a basketball buff, a tennis enthusiast, or a cricket connoisseur, the Fufa Media app puts the thrill of sport right at your fingertips. Join the conversation with fellow fans, access in-depth analysis, and never miss a moment of the action across your favorite sports. Download the Fufa Media app now and experience sports like never before. Available on iOS and Android devices.
Looking for the perfect place to nurture your child's soccer talent? Look no further than the Edgar's Youth Program Soccer Academy. We offer professional soccer training in the weekend program, holiday program, local and international soccer trips for boys and girls aged 3 to 17 years. With experienced coaches and state-of-art facilities, your child will have the best environment to grow and excel in soccer. For more information, call us on 0772667780 or 0702667780 or visit our website at www.edgarsyouthprog.org. Edgar's Youth Program, play professionally.
That's exactly why you should be careful.
Careful? Why?
How about right now? He's not thinking like a man who has something to lose.
Hey, nena mwakozeyo.
I don't know what it is.
Grace Junior School yasomero ly'omulembe nnyo mu nsangi zino liri Kirugu Njeru Municipality mu Wakisi Division. Tusomesa bulungi abaana era ne tubawa ne skills mu mizannyo ng'omupiira, basketball, netball ne MDD. Feba nantabegwa b'omupiira gw'ebigere mu mpaka z'amasomero mu East Africa nawane Uganda. Akademi zaffe za mulembe nnyo. Tulina music school ey'omutindo gwennyini era omwana ayiga okuyimba n'okkuba ebivuga. Dormitory zaffe class abasomesa sikibbe keya gye tuwa omwana ogisanga Grace and Grace Junior School wokka. Tulina ne UNEB center number era abaana bayita bulungi nnyo. Somero lya njawulo. Rays of Grace Junior School lisangibwa Kirugu Njeru Municipality. Ya somero lyolina okufuba omwana w'asomere. Rays of Grace Junior School, knowledge changing lives forever.
You are watching Fufa TV, the home of Ugandan sport.
You are still on to Tegero Mpira. Fufa TV, the home of Ugandan sport, is your airwave, and then 102.1 Fufa FM, Wali Bisanzewa. Tendo Nicktah Musoke is still my name, and we still have the president of the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, Honorable Engineer Moses Asim Magogo. I forgot to send shouts out to my people of Buyende. Big up. Mwekaza baba neba mama. President, when we went for the break, we had reached that point of 2019.
No, maybe to mention 2016, 2017 was the last time there were 16 countries.
Yes.
So 2019, they became 24. But still we led our group. You remember there had always been 24, there had always been 48 countries, four per group, all along. And they would take the top 12 and 3 losers.
Yeah.
That's how it would be 15 plus the host 16. But in 2019 qualifiers, they would still took the top 12 and 8. They took number 1 and number 2 in all the groups. And that's how they got the 24. And apart from the one where Egypt was as a host, where they took only 1. So that's how they got the 24. But still, we did not benefit from the expansion because we were
the group leader.
The group leader. Anyway, even if there had been 16.
Yeah.
Then we didn't qualify for 21. You remember that loss in Malawi. That 1-0 loss in Malawi.
The Gavin Kizito debut.
The Gavin Kizito debut. But also remember we struggled to beat South Sudan in Chiten. That's the time when we lost the home, the Nambole. That time we didn't have the Nambole as a home ground. So we didn't qualify in 2021. We went, I think, and lost to South Sudan in Kenya. It was a penalty caused by Alan Okero, I think, or was it Alan Okero or Miss Kiza? I don't remember very well.
It is 20 what?
2021 qualifiers, but I think they were in 2020.
That should be one of the questions that sends someone to the Vinca show.
Then 2023, remember when we had to beat Niger away, and then Tanzania did the impossible of drawing away in Algeria. You know, with an Algerian coach, and then everybody said, but that's football. So we didn't qualify for 2023, but 2025 we were back at it. And 2025, we remember the group we were in, had South Africa, had South Sudan again, and Congo Brazzaville. And we beat Congo Brazzaville here. We drew 2-2 with South Africa in South Africa, and then we beat South Sudan home and away. So even in that 2025 qualifier, we were still the best second placed team. So even if it was in the old qualification system without expansion,
so we had arrived
we still would have qualified. So that was 2025, and now 2027, which brings us to AFCON. And it brings me to your question, what is AFCON? But I thought people would benefit from that history. Now, AFCON, like I said, is the abbreviation of Africa Cup of Nations. Now, as a federation, we looked at, we have, even on this show, I've been very clear and I said you cannot do football. Football is a very, very expensive sport and a highly competitive sport. And I've just been looking at some statistics. At a later stage, I will ask these people to run these stats. But football is extremely competitive. Actually, I was telling the people at National Council and saying, guys, people outside there want to compare football to other sports disciplines. And we are not just proud, we are just being realistic. Now, football is played in 211 countries in the world. And it's #1 sport in 155 countries. Now that just shows you how popular the game, and that's the world. Football is played in 54 countries in Africa, and it's #1 in 53. It's only in Madagascar where rugby is the #1 sport. So it just shows you how competitive it is. It's not like any other discipline, and it's a game of numbers, it's a game of matches. So you have to think and plan for you to be successful. I want to tell our viewers out there that you cannot get football results by comments, by wishing. Football results, to turn around the wheel, is not something you're just going to get overnight by wanting. As a federation, we have to be very strategic. What we are seeing today has come out of a lot of strategy and planning. Now we realize that we needed government. That's why even in my remember that old manifesto I told you? One of the key areas there that we must bring government back. Because the countries that are doing well, people are talking about Morocco. Where is the money coming from? Government. People are talking about Algeria. All these countries you talk about, where does the money come from? Government. And it's a lot of it. But somebody would say, naye ate ze mujja mu basponsor ze mujjawa. But do you know the cost of football? The cost of football, you know, if you have to do things right. So we looked at it as a strategy and we said, look, we need government. First and foremost, we need funding. And people think it was accidental for government to start funding. No, we presented the papers, we talked. Government see you know, it has been collecting taxes.
President. Second year mugamba omukulu mugambe ki abadde ku mukolo gonna nenga talabawo point
ansaba sama oyagala ki and I
think
mugamba kunze ne team okusamba omupiira and you know it progressed from handouts from office of the president, state house, to eventually being installed. When we qualified for 2017 nzeka stokolo mukisa nompa audience bampa audience nebugamba kati muzei twetaaga kubeera mu budget. Because we have been coming here all the time nga tuwaku senteze za office. And no, football is expensive. You start feeling it because the money required. Now we got installed in the budget. Initially with the 10 billion and then eventually with the 19 billion. So government to Jebas, I want to thank government as football that this funding is the one now which has catapulted some of these things. Now we are one of the very few countries in Africa that participate in all CAF competitions. You know, we participate in all CAF competitions. Under 17, under 15, and just between now and December, we have 7 camps that are going to take place. Every camp you see is money. Then, no, but you are seeing 7 national teams are in camp. You think they are eating stones? They are eating money, they are sleeping, they are going by air. Have you ever seen Uganda participating? Kakati, we have the under 15 is going to Azerbaijan for the FIFA World Cup. The under 17 is going to Rwanda for the AFCON qualifiers in Sekafa. But as they're in Rwanda, the another under 17 will be in Qatar for the FIFA World Cup. We have the Crested Plains that is going to play Zambia in the qualifiers of women. Then we have a double header against Tunisia and Libya in September. And another double header against Botswana in November. And then you start asking, he said, just calculate that. And with simple calculations, ticket, $10, $5, you just add that. And then come back and say anything. Just calculate your car in that period. So, we had to be strategic to bring government closer to the game. And it was not easy. And government asked us so many questions. Government audits every shilling we use. You know, some people are there. Accountability. But are you a fool? How do you expect government to continue giving you money and they're not accounting for it? What are you thinking? Somebody comes and tells you that now we know Gulechu. You know? And even the activities themselves are speaking. These teams are not just by the way playing, they are also competing. The All Africa Games. I know the times Uganda has been in the All Africa Games. I remember in 1991, in 1999, and 2015.
91,
you get it? Baju kubomwenda.
Bachembe.
Tabaju kubomwenda. Nigeria ju kubomwenda. You see? Those are the only times. But we went to All Africa Games in Ghana, and we played the final with Ghana. And the girls played the semi-final. They got a bronze. So I was telling people that, okay, you people talk about medals. Those are 2 medals, and they are continental. But our game is not structured as a medal game. You cannot measure football. What has football brought? By the time we did the comparatives of what have you brought, and people in this country, let me use an example of netball. People have been talking about netball. But what does netball brought? Also, they have not won. They have only 1 medal in the last 4 years. Football has 2. But these are not medal sports. You cannot measure the success of netball
and football basing on medals.
Something cricket, something rugby. You cannot measure them by medals. These medals are more of individual sport, because even when you win All Africa Games, They gave you one medal, even if you have 25 players on the pitch, because it's not a medal sport. You get what I'm saying?
Actually, even at times where they split, that each athlete gets, they are still counted as one.
That's what I'm saying.
They do not say the whole team got medals, so they are 40.
This is symbolic.
It is only one year.
But the real medal, when you win in the Olympics, in the All Africa Games, in the Commonwealth, there's no football, but there's netball. It is always going to be one medal. So that is the comparative. Now, after realizing that we have gotten funding, it is the same as we went back to government and said, but we need the law, because the law is done by government. Now, right now, we have a law, the Sports Act. From no funding, from no law or old law, and now this law can allow anybody to commercialize the sport, because it has now protected the sport by law. They don't understand the value of empages zetusimba. The third one now, we said, you guys, we cannot do anything without infrastructure. Anything without infrastructure, because football must be played. People talk about get sponsors. When you are playing on the pitches we play on, how are you going to bring club money, for example, money to club football, when fans, you know, they don't even have places of convenience, you know, the pitch is bumpy. So we said, but we are not going to succeed. We don't have money. Let's go back to government for infrastructure. But we knew that whatever the money is involved, that too much, that whatever language we speak, nobody would listen to us. So what did we decide to do?
Could get one stadium.
So what did we decide to do? He said, let's go and host Africa Cup of Nations. And do you know where this idea started? It started in Gabon. And who started it? You know me, I give credit to everybody. Hamidi Juma. Midi. Says President, just like Midi was the one behind the whole idea of FUFA radio. People don't understand. I give him his credit. No, President, can't we really host AFCON? 2017, we started scheming, looking at things. So eventually we reached a point and said, now this 2017, let's go for it. We went to government and sold them the idea. We first went to President Musepe. I first talked to Tanzania, Kenya, my fellow president, and said, but guys, if we put in a joint bid. I said, can we get it? I went and spoke to Veroni Mosengo, the General Secretary of CAF. He said, but you need to talk to President. I talked to President Dr. Musepe. He said, but this thing needs the head of the state. And when he visited and came here, we went the head, we are cooking. We went the head of the state and then we talked and said, these people are asking, we would give them, but we need your support. President, no, we'll give them support. Then asking President, help us convince the President of Kenya and the President of Tanzania, because we need them to buy into this. I said, no, those ones. So you people are now sending me. He said, yes. Now today what we are talking about is history. We went, we put up a bid. That bid you see was written by FUFA. And I give credit to Dekola Skiza, Ronnie Kalema, and who else? There were 3 people who did the, putting it together. Then they brought in Kenya and Tanzania. And the teams we beat. Botswana hired someone to do that bid at a rate of $1 million.
The third was a lady?
The third was a lady.
Sumaya?
No. I forget. So, what is important here for Ugandans to understand about AFCON, that AFCON was a strategy of FUFA to improve on infrastructure. And we have achieved, and I'm not saying we are not going to perform, but we wanted to get this. But today, government has sunk in a lot of money to have Hoima, to have Akibwa, and Nambole has been brought down. I was there over the weekend. They have brought down things. Guys, Nambole is going to be a totally different home. And there's a lot of work which is going on there. The changing rooms are coming this side, the media tribune, it's going to get covered. We are going to get the digital screens, They have provided even more gates such that people don't congest onto the gates. So I think Nambole is going to be much better than it was.
And I have a group of people.
And you wonder, can't you see this? How do you think we would have been able to convince government to spend the kind of money? But it's not only Akibwa and Hoima and Nambole, but they are also training facilities. Chambogo has been brought up. Makerere construction is going on. All the time I was in Makerere, the pitch was always bad. There are 4 in what we call the Ila cluster. Gulu University, Peche Stadium is now being built, and Lita University. Then when you come to Bunyoro, the Boma ground in Hoima, Masindi is now being built, and Satito Winyi. When you come to Kampala, like I said, Chambogo, Makerere, and Kadiba.
Wankuruku also got
the benefit. They even got some lights. But
Lugogo as well, I think.
But government is not stopping there. The money building Lugogo is government money. The money building Masakari Creation is government money. So there is a wave of infrastructure that is coming into this country. Now the problem is going to be as football, how to utilize. And
that is when Kadiba was being handed over. There is something that I picked there in the minister's speech. I want us to have it relayed so that Rubale Womura Mutasamirirwa. Kindly give us the speech.
I want to thank Moses Magogo and the entire FUFA community for coming up with AFCON 2027 project. Let's clap for them. Because I know it's you who came up with the idea, you approached government, we came in full, and here I want to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, who first understood the concept and immediately guided that government gives guarantees for us to host AFCON 2027, and I think he deserves the hand clap for that. I want to assure the people of Uganda that AFCON 2027 will take place in Uganda, United Republic of Tanzania, and Kenya come June next year. No wonder we are here to witness yet another opportunity of handing over a training facility. In all these works, I expect the contractor to work in line with the CAF standards.
I think you've heard for yourself, wherever you are, if you're on TV, if you're on radio, you had a stamp into what you were saying. The idea originated from FUFA, and you are explaining why. So for any naysayer who was thinking about hosting or not hosting, being able to play well as hosts, the primary goal was infrastructure.
That was the goal. And like I'm saying, when we started, you remember people said, if you're not even hosting your home games in Uganda, how can you be hosting AFCON? And such comments about, and I was seated here on this show, saying AFCON is awarded on plans. I wish we get that old content one day. AFCON is awarded on plan. And it was indeed awarded on a plan which we submitted, that we shall have a stadium in Hoima, a stadium in Akibwa, and Mandera. And today we are there. That was the plan. So for me, AFCON, there is going to be a time when AFCON is gone. And for us, FUFA, we are not stopping to think. No, we never stop to think. We are engaging government, and we are interesting them to say, look, You know government budgets in a certain way. Now there's money which has come into the sector. After AFCON, that money still sits in the sector if government so wishes. So we are saying that, look, instead of taking away the money from this sector, maybe to agriculture, maybe to whatever, now our conversation is as follows, for those who want to listen. And then don't say when it happens that we never told you. We are convincing government that we need, at least it may not be an international stadium, but a stadium that can allow us to play at least the Premier League games. What we call the FIFA category 1. Proper surface, artificial turf if possible, lights, changing rooms and some stands, but also multi-sport, that maybe within that area there is some indoor where other games can be as well played. And we have highlighted in our strategy the following areas. I can mention Jinja. Jinja is a city.
Yeah.
And closest to Kampala. Mbale is a football culture. Already Leader and Guru are taken care of. But we are including West Nile, because we know how much football is also played in West Nile. Then the Bunyoro region has been taken care of. So we go down to Fort Portal, which is also a football mad place. And then Mbarara. And we are saying if we do this mini stadium,
because Masaka is already taken.
Masaka, there's work which is going on. And this is a phase. Then in addition to that, we are also interested in government at Kampala. Because you know, our history says that most of these star players we talk about were eventually discovered in Kampala. There are so many people who live in Kampala. Even the talents who are in a village, they also come into what? Into Kampala. So we are saying we need at least one such facility in each of the 5 divisions. They might be still even in a lower quality, but let us have a proper surface. Look at Makindye Mess. Imagine if we had the proper surface there, and we don't want grass because of the load. But if we can have proper artificial surface, proper, not just these wempers people do, proper artificial surface. Imagine if we had one in Luzira.
For Nakawa.
Imagine if we had one in Kawempe, Kutan. Imagine if we had one in Atete. Imagine if we had one in Nashivubo Blue.
Central.
If we did this, I'm telling you, talents are going to emerge. People must remember that why did we get so many players from Walukuba? It was because of that pitch in Walukuba and the estates.
Walukuba Masese.
It's not accidental. So this whole thing of AFCON is not just about teams coming here and playing football and Uganda performing at AFCON. For us at FIFA, we are looking at it very differently. We are looking at it before, we are looking at it bringing government to understand. Because the other day, the president was asking us, but why, when we played that first game of Chan against Algeria, he said, but you people, why was the team performing badly? He was not happy with us, the people running the team. And I told my colleague after the president, the meeting with the president, I said, I'm happy. Everybody laughed. I said, but you man, what's wrong with you? What annoys you? I said, for me to annoy me, you have to do a lot of work. But I like what the president has said. So if it has started being that Chimurumanga Batugobye, that is good for football. Because he's the #1 decision maker. So now he's going to listen. What does it need for the team to improve? Now he has brought money, he has brought infrastructure. So how does the national team improve in performance? And before he called us to another meeting, he said, I want to understand how does the national team. You know, the other day, when was it? During the World Cup, he said, Magogo, I'm seeing this competition going on in America and Uganda is not there. That was the World Cup. But I can see DR Congo, Haiti, what's happening? And I get an opportunity to explain. For me, every time I get an opportunity, I said, Zay, we need to build a team. What do you mean by building? It takes time to build this team, but we must identify, we must develop, we must export young, and we must look for players with the Ugandan roots in all parts of the world. So that's what these countries are doing, and the answer was yes. So why do I like that? Because eventually now government is starting to understand that, hey, we need academies. We need to invest in these academies. Because, you know, some people were excited, like on social media, they just say, but FUFA has not built stadiums. FUFA has not helped academies. There was somebody saying, FUFA has not paid referees in the lower league. Has he gotten any pen and calculated how much money he's talking about? Or you are just saying it because for you pay 50,000. But calculate it and then bring it to FUFA. So, when government starts buying into wanting to understand, and then two, we said we must improve the local league. Club football.
Because the ones you've identified, developed, have to prosper.
They must end up. And when you look at the technical master plan, which we have written in 2023, it's not a document of today. So we have now again been asked now of a paper for the short term and the long term improvement of the national team. And for me, where I sit, I'm excited. I'm saying, you see, football eventually is taking its shape because it's employing people. Do you know how many people go home when their source of income is football? Directly and indirectly. Those are Ugandans. When I came here, let me just give you one example. When I came here as president, we had 8 people as employees of FUFA. And their salary was 80 million a month. All of them. Today we have over 150 people employed, directly and indirectly. Those that are employees of FUFA and those that are the employees of the companies that FUFA owns. 150 Ugandans, and our salary bill per month is going to over 200 million per month, inclusive of paying pay as you earn as tax and NSSF. So football, now those about federation, but now go back to clubs, the professional clubs. You will find that those clubs, their annual salary bill, because even if you had, I'll take an average of 30 players and each is paid $1 million shilling, a Premier League club pays about 300 million in salaries. Now multiply it by 18. There are Ugandans, over 5 billion that is being paid to Ugandans to go home and have a living. That is football. Those are figures. So the point I'm trying to raise is that for us as a federation, our benefit, because that was the question, what is AFCON and what does it mean? What is the value of AFCON? I've told you it has helped us get infrastructure. Not only AFCON infrastructure, but now we are talking about even post-AFCON infrastructure. When did Uganda ever hope to have such facilities? Then you hear somebody saying, from what? No.
Agamba bwebatola bawunyiriza.
Tekuleka. Tetubadde na infrastructure. Tetubadde na sente. Tetubadde na mateeka. Tusobodde obisika mu government ne tubireeta. But these are the ingredients that can make the quality of football, the talents of players. You must have them. Now today we engage in government on post-AFCON to make sure that these facilities are all over the country. We are also engaging them on the policies. How does the private sector finance club football? How does the state-owned enterprises finance community clubs? It is a high-level discussion that we are having. Now, this catapults you to the real answers of how club football will make sense. But somebody wishes and says, Ompira gwafe, olaba, ompira gwa club tebaziyambye, prize money million nkaaga. They don't. Until you build these things, what was Zimbabwe into? You can't. That's wishful thinking.
But I think that is a comprehension problem. Because even if it is 60 million and you are judging it basing on the prize money of the Premier League, if you get that prize money of the Premier League and quantify it against the club's budget in the Premier League, still it is peanuts. Because, for example, if you give a team like Arsenal 500 million, what does it do to Arsenal? It is the same, like 60 million to a club in Uganda, because the whole budget of the league.
Tendo, there are two problems here you need to address. The first problem is what is the source of that money? So now for billion is what prize money. People think
that 19 billion is seated there.
That the federation, to be very popular and good, must get money and give clubs, and clubs spend, and then football is okay. The things we are doing are the things that can actually help these clubs generate revenue. If I don't give you, for example, let me tell you, I've just been reading right now before I came to the show. I was reading the club licensing report of the status of what is going on with club licensing. And clubs have been required to play in proper facilities this year. Proper. Now, if you don't play football in a proper facility, you cannot generate the money. You can't. When we were doing Chan, these were local players. But it was Nambole. There are people challenging you more. And when AFCON ended, the people were saying, Katulagewa. Now what next? But they were watching football on a Monday. And they repeat on a Thursday, and games were selling out. And who were the players? The local players. But even these players, the football they were playing was also good football.
Different from the one that
you get what I'm saying?
So after all they had played.
These facilities, olabo musambinga abona nomutadde ku Kasawe, Pugonga. Alwana nompira alina gusiba, alina kulowooza, alina scanning, alina kukolaki, you know, it becomes impossible. Then you say, epira basamba tebinyuma. Kati then when you put it on TV, you make it even worse. Camera zisika bitoke, zisika abantu eri, you know. Now this is your number one product. So, for me, what we are doing is to medic AFCON. Completely medicate. The other day, United Nations came to us. United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and said, FUFA, we want to partner with you. Do you know what it means? These people do proper, thorough research. And they look at an organization and they say, according to what you people are doing, we want to partner with you. And we want to partner with you for AFCON to make sure that we capture data. That data is the one which is going to speak to government, to policymakers, to take decisions. Because we have been doing football, but nobody captures the data. Now, in China alone, Uganda's history, Chan is like 5%, 10% of AFCON. But Uganda's record of Entebbe International Airport, the visitors, was during Chan. Since Entebbe was built. Now, these figures, the moment I was in one of the meetings and I told the Minister of Finance, I said, wait a minute, is this correct? Now, I keep telling these other sports federation people that the money man, the man who allocates money, the parameters that make him allocate money are not medals. Because when you win a medal in whatever sport, what does it economically make as sense? But the moment we told them that the record number of visitors, when they went on to check, this is what it is. They are saying, okay, wait a minute. Because these numbers of visitors, it means money coming into the country. So now, what UNDP is saying, we want to work with FUFA and we capture data and we make a report at the end so that the whole economic impact of AFCON is presented to companies, to the public, to government, to take a decision. Now, when would the football ever get that level? That eventually your value, because people say, omanyo mupira, sponsor baje balanga, sponsor talanga, sponsor alina okufuna value. Alina okutunulira, what are you bringing on table? So, I'm just giving you a picture of the impact of AFCON. Now, tuveyo kufufa, tuveyo ku football. Today ku musambi w'omupiira. Let's first look at the player. Any footballer where you are, the national team has not yet been called for AFCON. There is no better environment or opportunity than playing at home because you play in front of your fans. And we saw players who played at Chan, who were very good in Chan. You remember Riga Nimpande? You remember Kakande? You remember Jero Serunjoji, Watambala? But they don't give you Torachi. And I'm very, very happy about Torachi. And I'll tell you my reasons why. Torachi was under 20 Egypt. I'd never seen him closely. When we played in under 20 Egypt, Egypt, we lost in the quarterfinals, I think Nigeria or something. And I saw a defender who was extremely composed when he's playing football. And I said, this guy. But when he came back, he did not get the opportunity. Because he was an under 20 player to be playing regularly for Vipers. So, from the junior teams, there's that gap, we'll talk about it another day, where players sink in and never come out. And we have identified it and we are getting a solution to it. So when Torachi comes and plays in Chan, when Torachi comes to Egypt and he plays, not to Egypt, to Morocco, and he gets a cameo performance, that's now the highest level, AFCON. And today when I see him going to get his professional opportunity, I believe he has the world ahead of him. Now it is up to him. Fugwafe tugumaze. Twamutwala mu under 20, Vipers muwadde opportunity mu league, national team muwadde opportunity ku national team. Now clubs.
Captain is a Chan.
Captain is a Chan.
Naguma.
Atevye Golo. Those things. And if we had not brought Chan to Uganda, or AFCON to Uganda, probably maybe
have made the Cranes team.
You see? So, my point is, even a player, this is your moment. There are some players who are my friends and I tell them, if I was a player today, I would eat grass. Like Mitch used to say. Run and make sure I condition myself. If coach put once or doesn't want, he will see me ajakundara. And these days things are easy. Akati bya technology. We are going to track all players in the Uganda Premier League by technology that government has provided money for. We are tracking all players, let alone the GPS. We are trying them to technology. It's going to be something different. So your results, the coach will be back end. Your results, agenda ziraba, agamenti by science. Those who have not been following, I've said this before. When we played Cape Verde back at home here, the one that Kadu scored, Coach Desabri came and said, when he brought out his lineup, and they had given Moses Waiswa to start, I think ahead of Oloya or somebody, everybody was saying, what's wrong with this man? Because for us, naturally, team to Girondesa, Mumaso, even the fans today, when you tell them, anybody, even a coach, when you tell them to choose, they will choose what the eyes give them. But now technology gives something different. So as the coach said, no, according to the statistics, he's actually the best performing person. And you saw Waiswa had a game of his life. Even when in Morocco, after training, the coach said, President, you know what? According to the statistics, which Moviru is the best striker we can start with. I said, which statistics? He said, no, we have done, I said, but I'm not going to start him. I'll only just bring him on. And he brought him on.
Show that he's,
and he brought him on and scored. So technology tells the story a little bit more. People may not have known why we lost 3-0 to Algeria. It was technology. They just put in an analysis as the game is going on for us. And they sucked us in, and then they went behind us by speed. They released the 3 players, and we were down. So, technology plays a big role, and still, this is AFCON. So if you're a player out there, if I'm a referee, why can't I make sure that I have a FIFA badge? definitely they will want to pick some referees. There will no way AFCON will be in Uganda without a Ugandan referee being part of the referees. Miro and your people. Now that's an opportunity. Channeling abantu to wait AFCON yajja mwetege. I told them 2 years ago, bananga AFCON yajja mwetege. By this time wandi bade watuka dasho wetege. What about the companies? There is no opportunity bigger than AFCON to advertise, because you are going to be watched in over 185 countries. 2 billion people. When is an opportunity for you to ever get known? Abatunda ebyokulya, food, aba transport, aba accommodation, all of these are going to be opportunities. People who have not been at AFCON,
oliko accommodation ekolera nnyo bazanyi naye abalabi b'omupiira tebawummula ebifo ebicakalibwamu
entertainment sports otegese kaki okategese otya, because people are going to be all over. We expect to get between 500 and 1 million people coming through. And you know, don't joke, there is a time for us we went to Kigali and the whole accommodation was finished. Even in Gabon during AFCON, accommodation got finished. So wetezotia, these are all opportunities that are coming because of AFCON. We just have one game in Nambole. Owo mwenge natunda ekireka, owa boda navuga, everybody just becomes petrol stations. It becomes an economy of its own. But now we are going to have this for months. Ngatuli wano. So for me, Ugandans, as a federation, we do football.
Nenyonyi egenda kukola. Njogera nnyonyi naye si one plane.
Let me tell you another thing that has happened. Government yazimba omanyi bulijjo tulina airport emu. We have been having only one international airport. If anybody went and dug a hole in that runway in Entebbe, we would never have any international connection. I don't know whether you know that. And the whole, they have done it. We have in Sibazibera Montalo, just throw one bomb there and that is it. Now, Hoima International Airport, I was there the other day. It can land a 380 Airbus. But they have done it for goods. They have not done it for people. Now, because of AFCON, CAF is telling them build a terminal building. And the government has put together 285 billion Uganda shillings to do a terminal building at Hoima. That is the power of football. That is the power of AFCON. That now, government is thinking about upgrading the airport in Gulu to become also international.
They used to be airstrips.
Kakati abana Uganda abogera omupiira gwegulese bino byonna. Do you know the hospitals in Hoima have been improved? And we told them, guys, we need MRI machine in Hoima. Because if a player gets injured, football needs MRI. Government has put aside 10 billion to do an MRI that's going to be in Hoima. When? And that is football. And that is the federation using its sport to be useful for the country. If I can tell you organizations that have benefited from AFCON, the Uganda Railways, they are bringing more locomotives to transport people. And the government has allocated billions. Chira Municipal, and good Chira Municipal, accessing Nambole. They have gotten money. I've told you the hospitals have gotten money. Water in Hoima City, they have now revamped the whole water system. Power. All of these things are offsprings of AFCON. The Kankubudere Assembly Yomu, Airfinia Senate, because of AFCON. Or weather focus. No weather focus. Yafunya Gabanai, no bubble, whether it's going to rain. That is the power. Beautification of Hoima. Beautification of Kampala.
And
it's money in billions. It's money in billions. So your question of what is the impact of AFCON. For me now, our duty is to make sure that we host AFCON, to make sure that the team performs well, so that the good, beautiful story starts and ends well. That is now what is eating our minds. But
Have you ever listened to a radio and wanted to know the traffic flow before you go into town or anywhere? And you know around about during AFCON, that will be so important because in okulowooza oluguudo nga balusibye Niger yegendo yitawo.
You people buy phones, but you don't know the power of phones. Genda kujibaita Google Map. Me, I use it these days. So take a direction. Negenda kulaga nti kati awo kumukwano wa Muse. Tugenda. So
kati nze bambala kiddo kawunyemu. Ebala ne kawunyemu.
Ate kawunyemu muzi wa misango.
Omulirizaga president akatuwadde oteka omusajja ekiddo kiri awo. Wanti fe tukola bwetyo omukolo oti. Wemva kiri wekina.
So to get back to your question, you can evaluate. AFCON is such a huge impact. And we are looking at the figures that Morocco is putting out, because Morocco, you know what AFCON does? It does not just do football. I've been laboring to explain the football side, but it impacts on even the non-football. Morocco did its entirely relying the roads. Now, even us, you can see what we are doing. So far, government is going to almost a tune of 3 trillions. That's 3,000 billions. Instead of Uganda, when would the government get 3 trillions to put in infrastructure? And if it had not been this event. So where I sit, I'm happy. I'm excited. If everything goes according to plan, we will have a good tournament, we will have a good team performance, and for me,
life after AFCON.
Life after AFCON
be the most exciting for any football fan.
It's going to be exciting. How I wish everybody understands and reads into this template. How I wish everybody understands and they read into this template of understanding that football, since football came in 1897 in Uganda, it has never gotten this golden opportunity we have created. Never. And football in this country will never be the same. Because we have given it a real foundation. This is now the real foundation. Ntibisawe.
The mindset. Angola babikola. They had the money. Nenga mindset y'abantu tekyuse. Ne bateekamu embuzi nga tournament ewedde.
Ogwo gwe mulimu gwe tulina. Until we must make sure club football is vibrant. But you see, people who don't see the things critically. Do people understand why I was shouting over the Sports Act? That Sports Act has created part of that law, what they call a community club. You could not create an express is because that community club provision in the Act was not there. Now with that provision, and you can make an organic club in Lira. Ngaya balango. Kumupira guli sectarian. If you didn't know, football is sectarian. Most of these clubs somehow have a basis that binds people together.
That is why the most popular football teams, let us not say clubs because clubs is big. The most popular football teams are attached to a locality or a thinking.
Give me an example.
Let me give you an example of in Machindye. There is no team as popular as Kisugu United, Chibuli United, Kansanga Lukuli, or Kabalagala. If you bring your UPPC or PCCP, it will play good football, but it will not get funds. When you move to Masaza football, why is that frenzy there? Because even if I'm here and they know I'm coming from Singo, you say, Baku kubyo mpira.
Sectarian.
Ababuddu babo. abechagwe baabo anybody ne bwabanga wagira these other European clubs era tajja gamba nti teri goyinza sanga nga ava Chagwe n'agamba ndi wa Bulemezi.
Football is sectarian. Even the biggest teams now we have gone for those ones. But I keep telling people there's those teams in Europe, like England. These teams we see, those are villages. Wakuba manyaga we mazungu. Kuinza okulia Liverpool notamanya nti kyalo.
Era Liverpool, their biggest rival is Everton, with whom they share the Merseyside.
Merseyside river. Even now Newcastle byalo, Birmingham byalo.
Newcastle, Sunderland, they share the same tiny side.
Manchester byalo.
Manchester City, Man United, even when City was not big, that game was always a derby.
So, Newanu, what we have done is first of all to support whatever we are doing by law. After supporting what we have done by law, now we have created the infrastructure. Our engagement with government right now is to ensure that we put in place policies that force the private sector to fund football. Because government will not give us money to run clubs.
You have reminded me of
that Barcelona. They get, just a moment, they go into the treasury. Budget ya Uganda, but take a cent to Bazuama club. People think like that. It cannot happen like that. However much you want, it cannot even be sustainable. But what we need is government to put in place policies. And I'll tell you, for example, do you know that the banks, let me give an example of banks. You know, banks are the most profitable business in Uganda. And they make a net profit of over 1,200 billion Uganda shillings in profit. The whole of banking sector. And you know, for me, why I like talking to government, I go with my figures. That's why people say, but I do my research. I go and sit down and I tell Minister, banks are making 1,200 billions as net profit. And most of these banks are actually foreign owned. Meaning that this money, which is net profit, goes back to the shareholders who are not here. So you are repatriating this. And I'm saying, but can't we get a percentage of this money to remain in this country and employ people? And these Ugandans get to be employed.
And you have to give them a valid reason, because you cannot just take it.
That's what I'm saying.
They are business people.
No, it is my policy. If you want to come,
no, I mean the valid reason is CSR.
Exactly.
You cannot just say because banks are making money.
No.
The
theory. Then let me tell you, the theory of taxing. The theory of taxing. When you musolo gwe gusinga government obukulu. Musolo gwe gwakola government. Tax is on what somebody has benefited. So if you take a percentage, even if it is a 1%, on the lucrative businesses, and the lucrative business in Uganda known, it is banks, followed by telecoms, then the brewers, then the manufacturing, then the betting. If you just did only that, and you take a 2%, you would have 100 billion without going to Gobi's treasury. Now, these are things we're interesting government to say, government, look, you have done this in other sectors. Let me tell you, the UCC we see today collects 2% as a tax of all telecoms. And this money is supposed to go and set up telecom services in the areas that
are too remote,
that the private business would not be interested in. And it's a lot of money. They collect over 600 billion every year, and that's what runs UCC. Now, if they have done this in the communication sector, I can give you examples. Now, this is the conversation. We are the people who have this language, who have this conversation that people are going to listen to. What are you saying? Okay, what does this add up? So, after AFCON, now, our engagement is that those facilities need to be activated. They can only be activated by having clubs. Now, if you have Hoima City, why shouldn't Chitara be playing in Hoima City Stadium? That is when it will be useful. There must be a club there. There must be a club there. But this club cannot survive on Dewo Kasozi's personal money in the pocket. That's why, to sustain these facilities, we need this private sector to benefit. They can come and advertise on the shirts of these teams. We have put what do they call them? Pitch boards. TV in Hoima. So what are we going to use them for if we don't have these policies? And I like the conversation, the direction it's taking. So for me, that is what we need to do for football. That is what the presidents, the leadership is supposed to be thinking for football. The level of strategy, those are small problems that can be solved. The level of strategy should be above.
Anti president
tutegera
omupiira eno wali olowooza oba omuntu yali alowooza erina okumala wiiki 2 neggwa. Lwaki ekontinuinga after all this time? Kati tuyingidde fiscal policy. Saagala ate kucyankalanya nnyo omutwe gwa muntu abadde ategedde AFCON ajja kulema okwetega. Allow me stop here for today and give people a chance to react on that. The hashtag is tutegera omupiira. Bring any comment, any suggestion, anything. Then we shall see how to discuss it, hopefully, next week. But for today, you've been a very nice audience, those who are on Fufa TV, the home of Ugandan sport, and then those who are following us on 102.1 Fufa FM. Tutegera omupiira, and normal programming continues. Don't forget, tomorrow, Vinka. Again, Akubatukubo Muziki. Vinka is one of our good supporters of football and sport, and of course Swang's Avenue. But on Saturday, you've been enjoying Super 8. On Saturday is the Super Cup between the league champions and the Uganda Cup holders. That is Vipers versus Chitara FC. Vipers didn't play Super 8 because they had gone to play Sekafa. So the Super 8 had the other 9 that made the 8. So Vipers eri fresh. Temunagirabako. Chitara mugirabyeko byebadde ekola era ndowooza omukulu boss abadde apanga eno team tayagala gikola kyazanyisa abazannyi bonna. That is what is going to happen at Ham Stadium at 6 o'clock. That means you go as early as 4. It's a very beautiful place. Then those who are up country elsewhere, tell a friend to get subscription for Fufa TV or 102.1 Fufa FM. You'll get a chance to follow that because the league is around the corner. So we want to see how many teams are prepared, how many players have changed and all that. Then we'll see each other when we meet. Good night.
We celebrate our nation, our future, Uganda, and believe in the beautiful game of football in Uganda. We believe in our mother body, Fufa, Fufa. When the boys and girls aspire to become stars of the Uganda Queens and the Crested Queens and the Sun Queens. Come on, our fans, our gallant fans, our sponsors, urge your government to support the beautiful game. One tribe, one family, one religion, one nation. It is our game, it's our country, it's our joy, it's our nation. The past and present stars, the fallen and living heroes, the coaches and referees,
are watching Fufa TV, the home of Ugandan sport.
C'est la voix des peuples qui appelle tous ses frères à se retrouver.